Hi guys, I'm Major. In today's film, Johnny Tsunami. Before watching, I assume you've seen the film in its entirety, so spoilers ahead. I want to start by saying Johnny Tsunami is a corny Disney movie at its finest. Johnny Tsunami is a film about change, growth, unity, and acceptance. Johnny and his father share an interesting dynamic. Pete only wants what's best for Johnny, but only if it means his way. Pete sees life differently than his father, and with that, lives life differently. Pete has his own understanding of right and wrong, just like the rest of us, and he tries to instill this within his son. This version of right and wrong, what's acceptable and unacceptable, doesn't work for Johnny. Although Johnny is Pete's son, they are still two different people. It takes Pete to understand this. These issues are only echoes for Pete due to Johnny wanting to be just like his grandfather. Johnny's grandfather is the polar opposite of Pete. Pete is a very realistic and grounded man. He plays by the rules and sticks to the safest path. Johnny and Johnny both are heat chasers and risk takers. This conflict of personality is what causes the issues Pete and Johnny have throughout the film. Just as Johnny has to adjust to the move, Pete has to adjust to Johnny. Pete resents his father, and this directly correlates to Pete's relationship with his son. In order for Pete to progress as a father, he must accept his own father. We can infer Pete missed out on certain things in his childhood due to the easygoing nature of his father. Surfing doesn't pay the most money, and Pete makes this clear to Johnny. Pete sees a good foundation and steady career as the way to go. Some might even say the straight and narrow. Pete also hurries to his work in the name of providing for his family, but in the process, he neglects his son's emotional needs. Ironically, the hard work Pete puts in for his family is what sometimes keeps him away from them. This is what Pete understands to be the right way to do things, the right way to live. Work, provide, work, provide. Pete has to mature himself and his beliefs in order to accept his son and his father's way of life. Getting a little deeper, there are times when Pete feels like he's losing his son to the father he doesn't accept. Pete could only see the negatives from his father and how that affected his childhood. Pete had to open up his heart to the positives already in his life. He had to see the positives in his father and in his son. Understand the love that surrounds him and his role in the family he's built. Pete has to learn that he can't control everything around him. Events that circle you give you zero control. Part of life and growth is accepting this lack of control and learning to live with it. Not only learning to live with it, but to live around it. Just as the movie is a transition for Johnny, the changes Johnny goes through is something Pete has to adapt to as well. His refusal to accept his lack of control and his consistent desire to control is what makes Johnny run away. It takes this time apart for Johnny and Pete to grow. Pete learns here to trust his son and his endeavors. Johnny is a good kid, and Pete is learning to appreciate that. Once Pete can do this, he can then progress the relationship between him and his son. Pete's acceptance of his father is a direct echo to Johnny due to how similar the two are compared. I was really happy to give a take on Pete. This film was about much more than Johnny. While watching, I couldn't help but go back and really focus on Pete. I haven't yet understood fatherhood, but this Disney movie does its best to explain to its audience that parents aren't perfect either. This film was made at a time when shows were about family and family values, Full House, Family Matters, Different Strokes, Wonder Years, different stuff like that. Not only were children able to learn, but the entire family as a whole. In Johnny Tsunami, we have a father who tries to instill certain things on his son, but learns how that affects his son, his family, their relationship, and the consequences that come with it. I was able to see the growth Pete had to go through in order for everyone to grow. Pete had to understand his place in his family and understand how his actions and beliefs affect them. Pete had to mature himself in order for his family to progress. I want to thank you guys for watching my video on Pete from Johnny Tsunami. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and all that good stuff. And remember, go big or go home.